Have you ever walked into a room full of people and instantly recognized someone's face, but for the life of you couldn't remember their name? You know you've met them before, maybe even had a decent conversation, but their name just vanishes into thin air. Meanwhile, their face is crystal clear in your memory. This happens to all of us, and there's actually a fascinating reason why our brains work this way. Your brain processes faces and names in completely different ways, almost like they're stored in separate filing cabinets. When you look at someone's face, your brain doesn't just see a collection of features. It creates what scientists call a holistic representation. Think of it like this. When you see your friend's face, you're not consciously noting that they have brown eyes, a slightly crooked nose, and a particular smile. Instead, your brain captures the entire face as one unified pattern. This happens in a specialized region called the fusiform face area, which is basically your brain's face recognition headquarters. Names, on the other hand, are processed as arbitrary labels. There's nothing inherently meaningful about the sound Sharma or Patel that connects it to a person's appearance. Your brain has to create an artificial link between this random collection of sounds and the person it represents. It's like trying to remember that your password is butterfly 123 inches. There's no logical connection between those letters and numbers and your actual account. Here's where it gets really interesting, Nayak. Your brain evolved over millions of years to recognize faces because survival depended on it. Being able to quickly identify friend from foe, family member from stranger was literally a matter of life and death. Our ancestors who were better at face recognition had better chances of surviving and passing on their genes. Names, however, are a relatively recent human invention. We've only been using formal names for a few thousand years, which is nothing in evolutionary terms. The way your brain stores these two types of information is also completely different. Face recognition happens automatically and unconsciously. You don't have to think about recognizing your mother's face, it just happens instantly. But remembering names requires conscious effort and active recall. When someone tells you their name, you have to deliberately encode it, often repeating it to yourself or creating mental associations to help remember it later. There's also something called the tip of the tongue phenomenon that affects names more than faces. You know that frustrating feeling when you can almost remember someone's name, but it's just out of reach? This happens because names are stored as single, isolated pieces of information. If that one pathway gets blocked or weakened, you're stuck. But faces are stored as rich, multi-layered patterns with multiple retrieval pathways. Even if one aspect becomes fuzzy, other parts of the pattern can still trigger recognition. Research shows that we can remember thousands of faces with remarkable accuracy. Some studies suggest we can recognize up to 10,000 different faces, even after seeing them just once. But names? Most people struggle to remember more than a few dozen names without constant reinforcement. This isn't a personal failing, it's just how human memory works.
The social aspect makes this even more complicated. In most cultures, forgetting someone's name is considered rude or embarrassing, while not immediately recognizing their face is more forgivable. This creates anxiety around name recall, which actually makes it harder to remember. When you're stressed about forgetting, your brain's retrieval mechanisms become less efficient. It's like trying to remember something while someone is shouting at you. The pressure makes everything worse. Understanding this difference can actually help you become better at remembering names. Since names are arbitrary labels, you need to create meaningful connections. Try associating the name with something visual about the person or connect it to someone else you know with the same name. Repeat the name immediately after hearing it and use it during your conversation. These techniques work because they create multiple pathways to the same information, making it easier to retrieve later. So the next time you remember someone's face but blank out on their name, don't feel bad about it. Your brain is working exactly as it evolved to work, prioritizing the information that was most crucial for human survival while